I've been made aware of the fact that we might be living through end times right now, through revelations in the Bible, because there are biblical sandstorms in the Canary Islands. There are multiple countries with giant plagues of locusts. There's a massive disease pandemic going throughout the world. There's war, famine, corruption, complete deviance and malfeasance everywhere, with the human population just completely out of control. Everything is just degenerate. Everything's just degenerated. Adversity makes men, prosperity makes monsters. We've had prosperity, we've made monsters, and now we live in the menagerie. But we also got loads of floods in the UK. Like, loads of villages and towns are just completely underwater. They're just flooded. We've got biblical level floods, biblical level sandstorms, and plagues of locusts. And there was a burning bush. And I don't even believe in the Bible. I've never believed in it. I've always thought it was a control system, a control mechanism to enforce people that they can't do certain things with 10 commandments, instead of 10 commitments, because that would be thou should do this, and saying what you should do is better than saying what you shouldn't do, because the 10 commandments being a list of what you shouldn't do is actually just a list of rules and an imposition of control. But in actual fact, it seems like Revelations is a bit of a blueprint. It's a description of all these things we're living through that have happened before throughout history, because they happen like this in a cycle with every civilization, again and again. We rise, we become decadent, we don't care, we have adversity to make men and prosperity make monsters. So when we're decadent, we prosper, technically. We think we thrive. We've got all this technology, but we've got no ability to communicate with each other, we've got no capacity to love anymore, or ability to remember anything. Our attention spans are just shot to hell because of this technology, because of this communications technology, and these ubiquitous monopolizing companies that we're now paying for the privilege of being censored. And speaking of paying for the privilege of being censored, what about the BBC? Good riddance. Might have been good one time, might have had a reputation one time, but, that was Jimmy Savile and Animal Hospital with Rolf Harris. Brilliant. Next on BBC One, Animal Hospital with Rolf Harris. But first, Jim'll fix it. And Dando gets shot in the head. I heard a rumour, and I'm going to look into it because I think there's more to it than just a rumour, but that Jill Dando and Mark Spate were killed because they knew about the paedophile rings. They were going to reveal things about Jimmy Savile, and the BBC killed them. Do we need that? Do we need to pay for that? Do we need to be paid? Do we need to pay to be told that we're racist just because we're white? Or because we identify as white? Does that mean that really, really obsidian dark silhouette people can identify as pasty and white? Yeah, I identify as white, but you can't see me in the night. Oh, okay. I identify as white and pale, although you can't see tattoos on my skin. Clown World is a perfect representation of the end times. You can't go any lower than chopping your child's genitals off because you want to be seen as progressive by your peers. And harming them and hurting them, who cares? You can just have another one, and then have an abortion because it doesn't matter, does it? Because life isn't valuable. Just keep doing that because we're in Clown World. End times.